The largest internet company worldwide is Alphabet, the parent company of Google, which started in 1998.
Yes, and number 2 is Amazon, which started in 1994. Next up is Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram. Now, they started in 2004. However, for this week's podcast on English.com, we're talking about the company that sits in 12th place.
Right. Now, the difference between this company and all the others, we think, is that it affects the lives of those who don't use it.
Now, can you explain what you mean by that, Jackie?
Well, okay. It doesn't make any difference to me personally if you or our friends or family or our neighbours use any of these companies, one you mentioned, right? Or if they watch Netflix or use booking.com or Uber.
Right, okay.
But with this company, it could actually make a difference to us and not necessarily a positive one.
All right, okay. I think we should start at the beginning.
Yeah, okay. Right, back in 2007, 3 guys realised they could make a bit of money on the side, a bit of extra. They lived in San Francisco, where finding a room for a short stay was both difficult and expensive for young people.
Yes. Now I think listeners can start guessing who you're talking about now, can't they?
Yeah. So they put a blow-up mattress on the floor of their spare room and offered bed and breakfast.
It was very popular.
It was, and the guys saw a business opportunity. A year later, they decided to start an online website that allowed others to rent out a spare room.
And they called it
airbedandbreakfast.com.
So the air bit comes from the blow-up mattress
I
idea.
know, yeah.
Airbnb.
I know. To say that it was a successful idea, Richard, is putting it mildly, isn't it? The company, now known as Airbnb, of course, is worth how much?
$90 billion. So they now earn loads of money. But the company has also changed a lot, hasn't it? They're not just renting out spare rooms now, are they?
No, indeed. In fact, already by 2009, the website included listings for entire properties, not just sharing.
Yes, and that's where the problem is.
Yeah, exactly. The backlash has come from 2 areas: the hotel industry and from housing associations.
Yes, the hotels, they worry about losing their customers, and also rents have increased in popular areas where people rent out houses.
Yeah, landlords. The problem is that landlords make more money from renting out their flats on for short-term rentals rather than to local people who actually want to live there. But interesting, Richard, there are places where Airbnb is banned.
Yes, they include areas of Amsterdam, Vienna, Madrid, Miami, and West New York.
Okay, so how could we be affected then?
Well, if our neighbours rented out their house, for instance...
A big house,
and people rented it just to have a party, well, that would be really bad. There are so many interesting things to see in London.
Yeah, and some of the most famous tourist attractions have over 5 million visitors a year.
Now, we both lived in London and have, of course, seen many of these places. However, for this week's podcast on English.com, we're talking about the attractions we didn't visit when we lived there.
Yeah, actually, Richard, do you know which is the most visited place?
The most visited attraction in London?
Yeah.
It's got to be surely the Tower of London?
No, it's the British Museum.
Ah, okay, yes.
Almost 6 million visitors.
Right, I can understand that. It's a great place. So what about places we didn't visit? Jackie, what famous place did you not visit?
The answer to that, Richard, is St. Paul's Cathedral.
Oh, wow, okay.
Well, I had a friend over, we were walking around, and we both said, oh, let's go into the cathedral. Let's visit St. Paul's Cathedral.
It is an amazing building, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I did see it from the outside. So we started to make our way into the cathedral. And what did I discover?
You have to pay to get in.
And it was, I can't remember, but it was just really, really expensive. And at that time, it was just too much for me, so I didn't go in.
Oh, that's a shame.
What I did see, Richard, is how much it costs now to get in. What do you think it costs?
I don't know. If it was too expensive, I don't know, £20?
25 quid.
Ooh, that's a lot to go into a cathedral.
I know. So it's a shame. Maybe another time. What about you, Richard? What place did you not visit when you lived there?
Well, another one that's one of the most popular places, I believe, is Madame Tussauds Wax Museum.
Did you not go?
I've never been.
Wow. So why not?
There was one time where I was thinking of going.
Right.
And I got there, but I just thought that there was a huge queue. And at the end of the day, I really just didn't think it was worth it. I really don't like queuing anyway. So I just thought, no.
Actually, interesting, Richard. Now you're not allowed to go there and just buy a ticket.
Oh, really?
No, you have to book online.
Okay.
And when I was doing research for this, I discovered that most of the places now you have to book online to get there.
Funny you should say that. Last time I went to London, I went to see the National Gallery, which was fantastic. And again, it's free, but you have to book online, but there was no queue, and I just walked straight in. Very easy. Well worth it.
It's funny because you talked about going to see the National Gallery.
Yes.
When you visited London recently.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking, together as a couple, we've seen the London Eye and the Houses of Parliament.
Yes, and part of the Houses of Parliament was Westminster Hall.
And I was thinking, we went to all those places as tourists, really.
Yes. Yeah, well, we hadn't been to London for a long time, had we?
No, so I think that a lot of these, if you live in a place, you tend not to maybe go and see the places that all the tourists go to, and partly because how much money it costs.
True, very true.
So, Richard, is there anywhere else that maybe you haven't seen already, but you would like to?
Well, it's not a place. Well, it is a place, but it's also an event. One thing I'd really like to do is to watch Wimbledon, watch the tennis tournament there. That would be fantastic.